Hey everybody, welcome to another top 10 list, and here's my top 10 best movie remakes. Yes, I wanted to talk about movie remakes, and there's a lot of great movie remakes, but there's also a lot of shitty ones. Most of the time it's shitty, because I always like to think, if a movie's great and it's a classic, why remake it? Why try to change the story? Why do that? Why ruin something that's already amazing? But, however, sometimes remakes come along and they're not only just as good as the original, but they're better than the original. And I'm here to celebrate those great movies with this top 10 list. This is my top 10 best movie remakes. And don't worry, in my next video, I'll be getting to the worst movie remakes. But this is the best list, and here's my top 10 best movie remakes. Alright, let's get to it, shall we? And before our top 10 list, you gotta have your honorable mentions. My honorable mentions are The Fly, Scarface, Dawn of the Dead, Cape Fear, Let Me In, The Ring, The Magnificent Seven, King Kong, and The Parent Trap. All great movies, just couldn't make the top 10 list, but what did make my top 10 was my number 10. And my number 10 is the movie Dredd. Yes, I am the law, taste of your medicine. Yes. That was sort of Batman, Judge Dredd-ish. Yeah, okay. Judge Dredd is a movie that came out in 2012, and this is such an underrated action movie, and I love this movie. I love the Judge Dredd comic books, and this movie, I was waiting for them to make a good Judge Dredd movie, because the only version we had was the Stallone version in the 90s, which was god-awful. This one with Carl Urban is so great. I love it. The action's great. Carl Urban is a perfect Judge Dredd. You got Mama, the villain Mama, played by Lena Headey. You got an awesome premise, an awesome story. I love that it's just these two trying to make their way up a building to get to the villainess that is Mama. And I love it. I love it. I love the ideas. I love the action. I love how this movie is shot and edited, and everything about this movie is just done right. It's a perfect adaptation to the Judge Dredd comic books, and you don't actually see Judge Dredd's face, because you're not supposed to, just like in the 90s version, you just constantly see his face. The cover of the poster is Stallone and stuff, and that's stupid. This was better than the 90s version, and it's still a great film, and I hope they make a sequel to it. It didn't do good in the box office, but I really hope they make a sequel, because Dredd was awesome. Coming number 9 is Ocean's 11. Ocean's 11 is another remake to a pretty mediocre movie. The original Ocean's 11, I actually was never a fan of. I really didn't care for the characters, and I found it kind of sloppily executed, and it wasn't very comedic, and I just didn't have a lot of fun with the original Ocean's 11, and this version, directed by Steven Soderbergh, is so freaking good. It's entertaining, it's funny, it's thrilling, it's got some great twists and turns, and it has a stellar cast. Come on, you got Brad Pitt, George Clooney, Matt Damon, Andy Garcia, Julia Roberts, Casey Affleck, just so many amazing actors in this movie. Bernie Mac's in the movie too, and a lot of great actors, and they're all so stellar, they're all so great, they're all so charismatic, they're all so freaking charming, and I love this movie. This is just a great, fun crime movie, and it was a way better version than the original version. Ocean's 11 was a fun, kick-ass movie, and I love it. Coming number 8 is 12 Monkeys. Yes, 12 Monkeys, if you did not know, it's actually based off a short film, and yeah, it is obviously superior over the short film. This is a fantastic film. Terry Gilliam's direction is brilliant, and it's a great time-traveling movie. It's a very dark, bleak movie. It's a Terry Gilliam movie, so you know you're in for a really trippy mess of a film, and it is a very fucked up film, but it's so well done. It's got so much layers to it. It's so brilliantly structured, and Bruce Willis is fantastic, and Brad Pitt is the show stealer in this movie. He is absolutely sensational in this movie. This was his first Oscar nomination. He probably should have got the win. He was amazing. 12 Monkeys has always been a favorite of mine. It's one of my favorite Terry Gilliam movies. It's one of my favorite time-traveling movies. And it's obviously one of my favorite movie remakes. Coming number 7 is 3:10 to Yuma. 3:10 to Yuma is a remake of an old 50s Western, which was a fun movie. It was entertaining, it was lighthearted. I enjoyed it as a fun Western. This one is way different. It ends way different. It's much grittier, much darker, very bleak, and it works better. It's better executed. It's got better direction, and the performances, again, there's such a good cast in this movie. You got Russell Crowe, Ben Foster, Christian Bale, Logan Lerman, Henry Fonda, and Alan Tudyk. Everyone is fantastic. The action's great. The entire tone is fantastic. It just feels like you're in this Western world. The production looks fantastic. The costumes look fantastic. And all these characters are such interesting three-dimensional characters, and I just really liked it. Because the original was just a fun cowboy movie. This is a very dark, very bleak story, and it's a fascinating thrill ride, and it's one of my favorite Westerns. It's so good. Number 6 is Insomnia. Insomnia, written and directed by Christopher Nolan. Actually, just directed by Christopher Nolan. Yes, just directed. This movie is a remake of an old foreign movie that actually came out just a couple of years before this movie, and this movie is great. I love Insomnia. Hilary Swank, Robin Williams, Al Pacino, all fantastic. The story about a guy who goes to Alaska and he has to solve a murder case, and basically while he's there, he goes through some shit. He gets taunted by the serial killer. He accidentally shoots his partner, and he has bad insomnia. He doesn't sleep for like 6 nights, and he starts hallucinating. He doesn't know what's real. He doesn't know how to solve this case while he has this bad insomnia. And you got the killer, played by Robin Williams, who's taunting him and calling him and stuff. It's just a great cat-mouse game, and also a great atmospheric thrill ride of a film. And yes, I've said thrill ride a little too much in this video, so I apologize for that. This is a great thrilling movie, and it's very deep. It's very disturbing. It's a bit hard to watch at times, but it's so well done. It's so well crafted. Christopher Nolan directed this movie so freaking well. I can tell he studied a lot about insomniacs and stuff and what people go through when they have insomnia, and I love this movie. This is definitely one of the more underrated Christopher Nolan movies and the more underappreciated. I think more people need to watch this movie because this movie is so freaking good. Number 5 is Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Yeah, 1978, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. This movie has Karen Allen, Donald Sutherland, Jeff Goldblum, Leonard Nimoy. This is a remake of the old 1956 version, which was a great movie, very small-scaled sci-fi horror movie. This is just a more bigger-scaled sci-fi horror movie, and this movie has great makeup, great costumes, great prosthetics to this movie. This movie is very gross, and it's just so entertaining. If you like movies like The Fly, then you'll definitely like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. It's a really solid film, man. Yes, unfortunately, they remade it again, The Invasion, and that was a stupid movie, but this version, the 78 version, is freaking solid. Coming number 4 is Casino Royale. Yes, James Bond. James Bond. Daniel Craig is my favorite Bond. He is so freaking good. Him in this movie is brilliant. It's one of my favorite Bonds I've ever seen. I love his chemistry with Eva Green. I love Mads Mikkelsen as the villain. He's so good. I love this movie. I love how each act is a different sort of genre. Like the first act is like an action thriller. Then the next act is like a drama romance. And then the third act goes back to an action thriller and stuff. It's just so well done. It's so well structured and so well acted and so well directed. Basically, they just need to get Martin Campbell to direct every James Bond movie because Casino Royale is amazing. It's a remake of an older Casino Royale movie, another James Bond movie that no one remembers, but this movie is so freaking good. It's the best James Bond movie. It's one of the best movie remakes. Coming number 3 is The Departed. Yes, The Departed, y'all. Directed by Martin Scorsese. Again, big stellar cast. You got Leonardo DiCaprio, Mark Wahlberg, Jack Nicholson, Matt Damon, Vera Farmiga, Anthony Anderson, Ray Winstone, Martin Sheen. So many great actors in this movie, and this movie is a remake of an old Japanese cop movie called Internal Affairs, and that's a great movie. Very good, underrated, crime thriller, such a good movie, but The Departed is so amazing. It's Martin Scorsese, which finally got him his Academy Award for Best Director. He should have got it for Raging Bull, Goodfellas, or Taxi Driver, but he finally got it for The Departed, and it was well deserved. He did an amazing job directing this movie. It's such a good movie. It's got an amazing third act and fantastic performances all around. Mark Wahlberg as Sergeant Digman is my favorite character. He is so freaking funny. Yes, I love his lines. Maybe, maybe not. maybe fuck yourself. He's so friggin' funny, and I love this movie. It's a fantastic movie, one of the best movies of the 2000s, and definitely one of the best movie remakes. Coming number 2 is True Grit. Yes, 2010 gave us True Grit. Yeah, get that grit. And a big cast. Also Matt Damon. Matt Damon's a lot in this list. And yeah, he's in this movie as LaBouffe, and you got Jeff Bridges as Rooster Cogburn. You got Haley Steinfeld as Maddie. You got Cheney, played by Josh Brolin. And this movie is written and directed by Joel and Ethan Coen, the Coen brothers. The Coen brothers are one of the greatest directors of all time. They are so good. They made movies like Racing Arizona, Miller's Crossing, Big Lebowski, Fargo. They just make so many amazing movies, and this movie is one of their best movies, True Grit. It's not the best, but it's up there. It's a fantastic film, and it's a remake of another amazing movie. Because the 1969 True Grit with John Wayne is a phenomenal film, and I never thought in a million years they could remake that movie, and they did, and this movie's just as good, if not better, and that is an accomplishment, because True Grit 1969 is an amazing movie, but this movie, again, it does what the 310 to Yuma does. It's darker, it's more gritty, it feels more realistic, and it's very well done, very well directed, and the third act in this movie is way different than the original third act of the original movie, and this one gets much darker, much more unpleasant, and just a little too realistic, I think, and yeah, I love True Grit. It's an amazing movie, and I think it's the second best movie remake. And the number 1 best movie remake is, of course, you all know what it is, John Carpenter's The Thing. Yes, 1982, greatest year of cinema. The Thing. I love The Thing. Everyone knows I love The Thing. I've talked on and on about this movie. This movie's fantastic. It's one of the greatest horror movies, greatest sci-fi horror movies out there. It's right there with Alien. It's so good. You got Keith David and Kurt Russell in this movie. It's directed by John Carpenter. It's a fantastic monster movie. It's claustrophobic. It's disgusting. It's practical. It's awesome. It's got one of the best scores in a horror movie. It's just amazingly well done. This movie's gross. It's disturbing, but it's also very mysterious, very thrilling, very interesting, very fascinating. And the characters aren't stock horror movie characters. They're interesting and fascinating in their own way, and I love this movie, The Thing. The Thing is a fantastic film, and it's one of my favorite horror movies, and it's my favorite movie remake. So yeah, that was my top 10 best movie remakes. So yeah, in the comment section below, please tell me, did you agree with this list? If not, in the comment section below, please tell me, what is your top 10 favorite movie remakes? Comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like this video, please like, subscribe to this channel, and join the dark side.